Hello, my magical little army. Today, let's just play a little game. I've done a few Zodiac sortings on my channel. I'll link a few up at the top over here, but today is a little bit different. I am actually going to place each Zodiac sign into one wizarding school. I'll obviously have it narrowed down to 4 schools: Hogwarts, Durmstrang, Ilvermorny, and Beauxbaton. There are, of course, many other schools, but there's not as much information on those schools, so it'd be really hard for me to assess which Zodiac signs would go to which. But anyways, does it sound weird that I'm placing Zodiac signs into wizarding schools? Probably. But am I gonna do it? You bet I'm gonna do it. How am I gonna do it, you ask? Well, I'll explain in just a second, but first, before we get started, if you haven't joined my little Slitherbell army here on YouTube, then don't forget to swish and flick the subscribe button below to be a part of my magical little army here on YouTube. And while you're at it, if you're a fan of astrology and Harry Potter, then don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate that. Let me get this straight out of the way. Whatever negative traits I list out of certain Zodiac signs, please don't take that as a personal attack. We all have negative traits. This is just taken from a site and it's generalizing basically. So don't be offended. I'm sure you're all beautiful people, and I do need some of the negative traits to properly place the Zodiac signs. And also, yes, I know we all want to be in Hogwarts. Am I gonna place everyone in Hogwarts? No. Why? Because that would be really boring. Timestamps are down below. Let's just get cracking. Basically what I'm doing in this video is I'm just going to put each Zodiac sign into which school I think would fit them the best, which school I think that they would fit in the best. It's just the crap that goes on in my head. I'm going to start off by kind of describing very briefly each school and what certain students might lean more towards, how their personalities might be. Of course, it's a school, so there's going to be tons of different personalities, but just for the fun of it, we're just going to narrow it down a little bit based on the personality of the school itself. You guys can listen for yourselves. Let me know which school actually speaks the most to you. Ilvermorny is going to be a little bit more difficult because it is very similar to Hogwarts in many ways, but I'll explain more about Ilvermorny in just 2 seconds. Let's start off with Beauxbaton Academy of Magic. This is a wizarding school set in France. This school has a majestic and enchanting flair to it. The students at the school think that their school is the best school. I mean, can you blame them? The students of the school are disciplined, clever, elegant, graceful, and have a sort of appreciation for beauty. Another thing to mention is Beauxbaton always liked to keep the peace between schools, and they were always really friendly. Although there is an air of stuck-upness in the students of the school, but they are quite friendly. So for Beauxbaton, I will probably place signs that are a little bit more interested in beauty and, or at least the beauty in things, in harmony, in discipline. Signs that are a little bit more romantic, perhaps. That's where I will place them. Then we have Durmstrang Institute for Magical Learning. Durmstrang is believed to be set in Northern Europe. Nobody really knows exactly where in Europe it's set because any memory of the location of the school is completely erased with a memory charm. So they're very secretive that way. This school is very focused on the physical aspect of magic, so like dueling or martial arts, rather than the academics. They're also known to have a pull towards the dark arts. Durmstrang is known to kind of have a bad rep with producing dark wizards, but not all the wizards who go into Durmstrang are bad. I mean, there's Victor Crumb, who was not a bad guy at all. The school was open to international students, just no Muggleborns. Definitely the Zodiac signs that I will place into Durmstrang will be people who are very disciplined, who might be a little bit more headstrong, and maybe some who are more interested in sports. Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. This is the American wizarding school. Like I said before, it's very similar to Hogwarts, but there is something that sets Ilvermorny apart from all the rest of the other schools, and it's the fact that Ilvermorny is very open, very non-elitist towards other wizards that come into their school. They keep their arms open for other witches and wizards wherever they come from, whatever their bloodline is. They're very open. So what I'll probably do is I'll place certain zodiac signs who are more social, a lot more open than others, into Ilvermorny. Last but not least, Hogwarts. Hogwarts needs no introduction, really. I will say that Hogwarts is probably the most humorous of all the schools. I know that sounds weird, but it does have the most personality. It's the most eccentric school with also the most detailed history. Hogwarts prides itself on honor, diversity, and ancient traditions. There is also an element of danger to Hogwarts, so in terms of that, what I'll be looking at with placement for zodiac signs is any sign that is very adventurous, who likes to perhaps travel, or who's not afraid to get into the nitty-gritty of things, who isn't afraid of a little bit of danger, who is quirky. Those are the traits that I'm probably going to put into Hogwarts. Let's get to the zodiac signs. Let's start off with the first astrological sign, Aries, the ram. They are the head of the zodiac sign, the oldest. Their element is fire. Their ruling planet is Mars, the planet of war and energy. Aries are energetic and proud. They can be very encouraging, but also impulsive. They're bold. They can be a little bit bossy at times. They're also devoted, reckless, and passionate. Aries can lean towards being a little bit stubborn at times, but they are such good friends. Based off of their headstrong demeanor and how assertive they can be, I'm going to place Aries into Durmstrang. Next, we have our friends Taurus, the bull. Their element is earth, and their ruling planet is Venus, the planet of beauty and love. Now, Tauruses are patient. They can be a little bit overindulgent sometimes. They're organized and stubborn, supportive. They can be a little bit vain at times. They're also very romantic. They're sensual, and they're cautious, and they're also elegant. These traits go really well with the Tauruses that I have known. I haven't known a bunch, but the ones that I've known, this kind of fits. Based on the information that I have, I'm going to place Taurus into Beauxbatons. Gemini, the twins. This sign is the most versatile. Their ruling planet is Mercury, the planet of communication. Their element is air. Their traits are, they can be somewhat distracted at times. They're very original. They come up with the best ideas. They're fascinating. They can be a bit restless, and sometimes they can be two-faced. They're resourceful and charming, but can be a little bit judgmental at times. Sometimes they can feel a little bit too overwhelmed. They're also very wise. They're adventurous and witty, and they also love to collaborate. From the Geminis that I know, they're usually very funny. They're very sweet, I find. You'll always have a good time with a Gemini, and for those reasons, that's why I would place Gemini into Hogwarts. Cancer, the crab. Cancers are the natural nurturers of the zodiac signs, and their element is water. Their ruling planet is the moon, which I love. The moon is quite feminine. It represents emotions and moods. Some of the traits of Cancers are that they're really helpful. They can be a bit gossipy at times. They're really compassionate and sometimes will isolate themselves or like to stick to a clique towards what they're most comfortable with. Of course, they're very nurturing, and they're also hypersensitive to emotions. They're creative, and I guess the best way to describe them is that they have a hard outside, but they're really soft on the inside. I can see them going into Ilvermorny. I can also see them going into Durmstrang. But I think I would probably lean more towards wanting to place a Cancer into Beauxbatons. Leo, the lion. Leos are honestly some of my favorite people. I have really, really, really great friends who are Leos that I love to my core. Their element is fire, and their ruling planet is, of course, the sun, which is the big ball of fire, the masculine life force. Some of the traits of a Leo are that they're very courageous. They can be a little bit cocky at times. Leos tend to be very social. They can be jealous and also protective, but they're also very entertaining. Some people might say that they're a bit dramatic, but I've never had that experience with a Leo, to be honest. And they're also very playful. I'm really on the fence with which school would be best for a Leo. I'm leaning more towards Ilvermorny because of the social aspect, how open Leos are. Leos are probably the most warm zodiac sign, at least in my opinion. They have only ever been really kind and generous and open-hearted. So for that, I want to place them into Ilvermorny, but I would also say that they would do really well at Hogwarts as well because, you know, they can be really quirky at times. So Virgo is the Virgin. Their element is Earth and their planet is Mercury, the planet of communication. They can be a bit of a stickler sometimes, but they're also very easy to talk to. If you need advice, always go to a Virgo. They're very non-biased. They'll give their opinions really honestly. I believe that they're really great business partners as well. They're very dedicated. They can be a little bit preachy if there's something that goes on that they're not happy about. They'll kind of, you know, slap you in the wrist a little bit. They can be a little bit overwhelmed when things pile up, when there's a mess. They need things to be a certain order or a certain way, and if it's not like that, then they will get really stressed out. They're helpful, they're hardworking, they can be a little bit critical at times as well. Virgos are very witty. Some of the most sarcastic people that I know are Virgos. They just have the most dry humor of all the zodiac signs. They can also be a bit self-pitying. They will put themselves down a lot. They're their own worst enemy sometimes. They're also practical and organized. So mainly based on how organized and structured their lives are, they're very disciplined. Every Virgo I know likes things done a certain way. I would definitely put Virgo into Durmstrang. Libra. So this is my sign, if you haven't noticed from my necklace, which you can barely see. Libra, the scales. They are the balanced beautifiers of the zodiacs. Their element is air and their ruling planet is Venus, the planet of love and beauty. Some of the traits of a Libra are that they're very charming, they're indecisive, definitely, that's a thing for me, I'm very indecisive. They're fair, they can be a bit vain or superficial at times. They're very lovable, they can be a bit spoiled. They're sincere, they can be a bit delusional at times. Sometimes they'll talk themselves into believing something that is completely false. Libras are hopeless romantics, and I am no exception to that rule. I'm a very hopeless romantic. They can be a bit melodramatic at times. If things are too chaotic in their lives, they can't handle it, they'll go a little bit crazy. They're also a very giving sign. They like to share, they like to keep the peace between people, and they're just very generous with wanting to make people feel good. For Libra, I kind of bounced between two as well. I wasn't really sure which one to pick. I thought Ilvermorny because of how open Libras are, and then also Beauxbatons because of how much Libras really enjoy beautiful things and how romantic and maybe a little bit like snobby Libras can be. Maybe I'm leaning more towards Beauxbatons than Ilvermorny, but I mean, they're both good. Next, we've got Scorpio, the Scorpion. Scorpios have a really bad reputation, and I get that they can be a bit intense at times, but I love Scorpios. One of my best friends is a Scorpio, and for the most part, Scorpios that I've met, I've really enjoyed their company. Maybe there's like one that I didn't really like, but I mean, that's gonna happen. Their element is water. Their ruling planet is Pluto, the planet of regeneration and power. So their traits are that they're very magnetic. There's something about Scorpios that draw people in. Whether you like it or not, they really do. I noticed that they tend to be a bit obsessive with things. They can go through phases a lot. They're passionate, they can be possessive at times. They're very loyal. They're protective and secretive. They're kind of like trendsetters in a way where they'll be the first to do something. They don't really listen to what's going on around them. They kind of like to march to their own beat. They're also very brave and impulsive, I would also add that as well. And they're also very mysterious at times, which I think is true. Now, there was a part of me that wanted to place Scorpio into Beauxbatons because I felt like they could also fit there as well. But at the same time, they do really have a lot of traits that Durmstrang would want, I think. I think that they would do really well in Durmstrang. I think that they have enough passion to be in Durmstrang. The fact that they are very headstrong also makes me want to put them into Durmstrang. So that's what I'll do. Scorpios, you're going to Durmstrang. And now we have Sagittarius, the Archer. Sagittariuses are the worldly adventurer of the zodiacs. Their element is fire, and their ruling planet is Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion. I do know a lot of Sagittariuses, a lot of Sages I'm really close to. My older sister's also a Sagittarius. So some of the traits I found of theirs is they're very honest, which from my own experiences with Sages, they will usually tell you like it is. If you ask them their opinion or even if you don't ask them their opinion, they'll kind of just tell you. They can be stubborn, but they're also fair-minded. They can be a little bit reckless or impulsive. Sometimes they get ahead of themselves. They have to, remind themselves to slow down or step back a little bit. The Sagittariuses that I know are very optimistic. They're usually very positive. Sagittariuses are huge flirts. Basically, all the Sagittariuses that I know in my life, they're all very flirtatious. Sages are very dedicated and enthusiastic, and they also can be a lot of fun. I kind of had two schools in mind for them that would fit them the best. I think based off of their fun personality, how much they like adventure and travel, and they're a little bit on the reckless side at times, I'm going to say that the best fitting school for Sagittariuses is Hogwarts. Capricorn, the goat. They are the calculated planners of the zodiac signs, and their element is Earth, and their ruling planet is Saturn, the planet of maturity and discipline. Now, I've said this in a video before, Capricorn is the one sign I don't really know that well. I don't really know that many Capricorns. So I've just known maybe two. So because I don't know too much about Capricorns, I'm going to be using the site that I did my research on just to help me out with the sortings and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll just draw from some of my own experiences with Capricorns, but there's not much. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Any Capricorns that have anything more to add, just let me know because I would love to know. They say that Capricorns are very loyal. They can lean towards the more pessimistic or negative side at times. Capricorns are very family oriented, or at least they can be family oriented. That's something that I think is true with Capricorns that I've seen, at least. I think that they're very devoted to their families. They can be unforgiving if you give them a reason to not trust you, or if you hurt them, they're not really a second chance kind of person. They're very committed. Sometimes they can feel a sense of hopelessness. They're very ambitious, and sometimes they can be a little bit guarded. And apparently Capricorns really prefer to have things done properly and in the way that they like it. So based on the qualities on how much they love their families and things like that, how disciplined they are, I was really leaning towards Beauxbatons, but they do have that kind of assertiveness that I feel students at Durmstrang really excel at. Capricorns would do well in both schools, but I definitely am leaning more towards Durmstrang. Now we have Aquarius, the water bearer. They are the humanitarians of the zodiac sign, and their ruling planet is Uranus, the planet of originality. Traits of an Aquarius is that they're very communicative. They're also quite grounded. They're very original. I also noticed that Aquariuses are very quirky and they like to be around people. I find with Aquariuses you can really tell when they are in a bad mood, and I find Aquariuses aren't always in a bad mood. I feel like usually they're quite chirpy and fun, but when they're down, it's such a shift. They feel a little bit detached. Aquariuses tend to be very open-minded. Aquariuses can also be quite logical, a bit impatient at times, but they are very, very welcoming, very warm, and also very quirky. I find that Aquarius has that really nice balance of being serious, but then also being fun and quirky and open and friendly and inviting. They'll be the first to invite you over or to open their arms to you. I can see definitely Hogwarts being a good school for them, but I'm going to place Aquarius in Ilvermorny. And now our baby sign, the last sign of the zodiac. is Pisces. Pisces, the fish. Now, they are the dreamers. They kind of have their heads in the clouds sometimes, and their element is water, and their ruling planet is Neptune, the planet of fantasy. Pisces is a very interesting sign to me because I find that a lot of Pisces tend to be a little bit more airy than water, but it's really just like a lovely sign. And honestly, some of the nicest people are Pisces, I find. So some of the traits of a Pisces is that they can be very romantic. They're daydreamers. Their heads are in the clouds sometimes, like I said before. They can be a bit gullible at times. They like to give people the benefit of the doubt. They'll give many, many chances to the wrong people sometimes. I find with Pisces, they'll kind of make excuses for other people because they don't want to look at them in a negative way. They want to see the good in other people. They're very helpful. They're very hands-on. They can be a little bit self-pitying. They have a very nice energy to them. They're very settled and comforting. Pisces can be a little bit clingy. That I find with the Pisces that I have known, they do kind of lean towards that clingy thing. They're also very imaginative. Pisces are very creative people. They also can be very compassionate because they want to see the good in other people. I think the best school for Pisces would probably be Ilvermorny because of how open and generous the school is and how non-elitist Ilvermorny is. And I think as well, Pisces is also very non-elitist. So for those reasons, I'm going to place them into Ilvermorny. Oh my God, that was a lot. I feel like I've been talking for hours. So there it is. Those are all my placements. Obviously, they're not set in stone. You're not married to any of them. It's just something for fun that I like doing. This is what I do on a regular basis sometimes. I know it sounds weird, but I'm kind of weird. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, you guys tell me which school you would like to be in, and just comment down below and let me know which would be your favorite school. And I challenge you guys not to say Hogwarts. I challenge you to say a different school. Mine would probably be Beauxbatons. Let me know what yours are. And if you want to follow me on my social media accounts, everything is down below in the description box. And that is basically it. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button down below. I would love to have you a part of my family here. And that's it. I upload every week, so I will see you guys in my next video next week. I love you guys so, so much. Much love, guys. Bye.